M.A.D.P.J, M.A.D.P.J.
Censorship is telling a man he can't have a steak just because a baby can't chew it. That's a quote by Mark Twain, the writer of the book The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, a book that, according to a 1907 article in the Library Journal, has been banned somewhere every year since its publication in 1885. Some think that this 10-letter word is the best ideology for humanity to live in, a world where you can say what you want as long as we agree with it. But in my opinion, it's a word that breeds the mutt which crushes the rabbit of free speech and free thinking. A word that banishes so many glorious examples of art for the simple reason that some may disagree with the message. Art is a weird and strange part of life, and that is the way that it should be. But do others agree with me?
So, hey, yeah?
Hi.
You doing alright?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, how do I start this? So I'm doing a video on the censorship of art, right?
Yep.
So, what are your opinions on it? And when I say
Are you
censorship,
filming this right now?
yeah, the camera's
great.
on,
Okay.
it's
And it's
moving.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to point it somewhere else, I can, but I don't want.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want to answer the question now?
What question did you ask? You did not. You just told me that you were doing a project on something.
Yeah,
about...
I'm doing a project on the censorship of art. So, do you have any thoughts on it? And when I say censorship, I mean like books being banned. I mean, songs being censored, stuff like that.
Well,
in a sense.
I think that art should be free. Basically, you should be able to express yourself in any shape or form that you so desire.
Fair
I know
enough.
it can be offensive to some people sometimes.
Okay.
Some people may find it offensive, but and to allow art to excel and to be creative, one needs to be able to explore all sorts of different pathways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so, okay, Joe, sculptist, I can't say that correctly, but never mind.
Rest.
I'll think of something, I'll edit that in a minute. The censorship of art, are you for it, against it, or do you think there's an in-between with it?
No, I'm against it. Art is just a language, so basically people have to express what they want to express.
Okay, any reason for that, or?
Freedom of speech.
Yeah, I think if you do censor art, it usually is against freedom. Against freedom of speech.
Yeah, so no.
Fair enough.
I'm all for freedom.
As always. Yeah, can you think of any times where famous sculptors or sculptors have been banned from different countries, and for what reason? Just in history?
Oh my god. Yes, but no. I have a brain like a sieve. I mean, yeah, there were people during the war who were doing stuff against the war, and they had to be careful that they weren't caught by the Nazis and things like that. I mean, I can't remember names, but yeah. I think throughout all centuries there have been artists that have done stuff that's riled the leaders or whatever, or riled more, what's classed as being, how can I put it, morally right, and not indecent. So yeah, I can't think of anyone.
Fair enough. I was just, I was looking through books the other day, finding out why they were banned. Apparently in the 80s in London, or something like that, the book of Peter Rabbit was banned because it only showed middle class rabbits. It's such a dumb thing.
I know. I mean, but this is the funny thing, is that most things are like Magic Roundabout. The little cartoon that was on. I mean, and what was it, Captain Pugwash? I mean, if only we realise now what was behind all that, would that have been ever allowed to be put on air?
True.
I mean, there was the Dougal on Dope. There was like the Twiggy thing or whatever was on speed, and
It was
then
Dylan who was on his
Dylan,
heart,
you know,
yeah.
and then you got Captain Pugwash. I mean, again, when you know, but I think people read too much probably into stuff, and let's face it, kids are always going to be faced with something. I'm not saying you have to, you know, put kids in front of vile art or
You don't
whatever,
have to,
you know,
exactly.
you don't have to do that, and I'm not saying that vile art or probably offensive or scary stuff has to be on display for the whole public, but it should be allowed in I suppose some places.
Yeah, fair enough, thanks. The recording? Yeah, I think it is. Okay, you ready? So, what are your thoughts on censorship?
I think censorship shouldn't really be necessary in art and filmmaking,
Yeah.
provided
Yeah, I meant an art, sorry.
provided it's not gratuitously offensive to different cultures or races. People should be able to express themselves
Yeah.
without being suppressed.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. When you said, when you touched upon the groups of races, how did you mean exactly?
For instance,
Yeah.
you know, the Jewish population seems to get hammered fairly regularly. I don't necessarily think that's a good or right thing.
Fair enough.
So, you know, groups, minority groups that shouldn't be deliberately, what's the word?
Chastised, humiliated?
That's
Yeah.
it, you got it in one. Provided those things are,
Yeah.
there shouldn't be any censorship. No, I think it should be freedom, you know, should be a good,
Yeah, definitely.
necessary thing
Yeah,
to get the best of art. Yeah.
exactly. I mean, to be fair, even a lot of the times, though, it could depend on a person's mentality or how a person perceives things.
True.
I mean, you know, I like to watch, say, South Park, but it doesn't make me want to go find the kid with an orange coat and say, screw you, Kenny. You know,
Sure.
typically, you see what I'm saying with, you might say, typical African-American hood movies. I watch a lot of them, maybe practice the accent. Doesn't make me want to go pick some malt liquor up from the store and try and shoot people with my AK-47.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Good point. I think you have to look at places like Japan.
Yeah.
I think they have the probably the highest amount of pornographic
Oh, yeah.
material that's kind of really the worst, right?
Yeah, true.
And yet they have the lowest instance of violence and sex crimes anywhere in the world.
Yeah, true.
So it's not always necessary, is it, to censor things, obviously,
yeah, true.
for people's benefit. I suppose it depends on the individual.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that is my opinion anyway. Yeah, thank you for that.